Hello and welcome to our energy forecast for the collective for February, along with our mystic message for the week. So, the energy forecast is going to be a bit longer. So, if you're watching that, you're going to get to hear the whole thing. The mystic message is going to be this first part of the energy forecast. So, overall, we're going to get into kind of the shift of focus in the purging and healing and expanding, right? We're shifting, not that we're leaving the work with the heart behind, right? That was the big emphasis in January. But that's moving forward. Now we're bringing in the solar plexus, and so we're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to talk about the sun and the underworld. We're going to talk about the new mission that we are stepping into and what that looks like, and we're going to talk about the fire, the fire of this month, the energy, the new year, the horse, and how all of that's going to play out. So it's a very transformative month, astrologically speaking. There's a lot of alignment with that as well. So let's start. Let's start here with our solar plexus energy. So, like I said, January really sparked the theme for the year. And it was a big emphasis in January. There was a lot, around the heart and unconditional love and, the ways in which our energy bodies are shifting to a more heart-dominated structure. This month, there's a bigger emphasis again as we're moving to the mid-month point, which is the point where we're moving from the year of the snake to the year of the horse. It is the new year, right? Separate from the December to January form of new year, right? And we're feeling it. We are feeling the end of this cycle. We are feeling the end of a phase and stepping into a new, right? And so there is a lot of continued purging around the solar plexus area. This is so important for what is moving forward. And so what does this mean? Solar plexus, it's our confidence, it's our self-worth, it's our identity, and, in a lot of ways our ego. It would relate to your sun sign in astrology. It is very much around our relationship with ourself, and with that, our sovereignty, our ownership over ourselves, and accountability as well, right? And so this has been purging. It's not necessarily new, but as with the end of any kind of cycle or phase or kind of healing theme, you get to the end and it can feel really intense, and you can feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm pushing, and like why is it not clicking? When you're kind of healing something and you've been working on it, maybe for years, right? Because it comes in waves and layers, like you're peeling an onion, and you're not just constant push, heal this thing for all these years, but it does come in waves. And sometimes it can get to a point where it's like, really? There's more? There's more? How could there possibly be more? Or it's almost like something hasn't clicked, and you kind of feel like you're in fake it till you make it, right? If it's your heart, right? Fake it till you make it is like that, almost like self-love, where you're like not really feeling it, but you're kind of forcing it. So fake it till you make it isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can kind of create the rhythms. It can create that consistency. It can start to rewire the neural pathways in some ways. But with this, especially the solar plexus energy, what's been happening a lot is, when we heal, right, we purge a lot of stuff out. And then we want to bring in something new. We want to bring in, the opposite, right? If I'm purging out, lack of trust or confidence or self-worth, I want to replace that with newfound confidence and self-worth and all of these things, right? If we're healing disempowerment, right? That's a big solar plexus wound. Then we want to bring in empowerment. And so if you're noticing, like, wrapping up some big themes around empowerment themes, that would be how this is super relevant for you. So, but what's happening is we haven't fully replaced it. We haven't really fully brought in the new. And it's not because we're doing anything wrong. It's almost like the energy to bring in has not been quite available yet. It's part of our up-leveling of our structure, of our bodies, and all of our bodies as a whole. And so we've been making a lot of space and kind of feeling like I don't want to say empty, but kind of like energetically empty. We've made space, but we haven't really, maybe I've cleared out a lot of my lack of trust, confidence, self-worth, empowerment, sovereignty issues, right? Identities, right? Ego deaths. Have you been having ego deaths around your identity? I know myself, I probably had about a dozen little ego deaths, one after another, all last year. So this has been a lead up, all right? And so we've been clearing out a lot, but not really replacing it. So it's maybe we don't necessarily feel super self-conscious about ourselves, right? But we're not really beaming confidently, right? We're like, well, where's this kind of like new powerful version of myself that I feel like I've been waiting for? It's coming. And again, we've been making massive space for it and are going to continue. This is going to keep going. It does have a feel around the shift around that mid-month point. And not that you're going to magically like feel different right away. Everything is slow. Most of the time, we don't just wake up after, healing and closing out some cycles and feel different. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do feel a big boost and we kind of look around and we're like, everything looks different. But usually it's like a slower burn. And so don't lose hope. Don't lose patience. It is coming. You are making space. And if you are feeling in this in between, that is okay. Everyone's feeling that, and it's by design, so that what we can fuel back into the solar plexus can be something bigger, can be something greater, can be more aligned with the new reality we're creating and cultivating together, can be more aligned with unconditional love that is coming in. Energies are coming in to our awareness, to our planet, and through our bodies that were just not available before. And so this kind of odd way of not directly immediately replacing what we purge out is by design. Okay. So it is a final push, a final push of purge. And when it comes to, just because we're talking solar plexus doesn't mean it doesn't ripple to other areas, right? If you've done healing or you are a healer, nothing is just compartmentalized to this one little area. So my confidence issues might be related to how I speak, right? And so therefore my throat chakra is tight in. My confidence or self-worth issues might be related to my sacral chakra because maybe there's some trauma there, or intimacy issues, right? Or my root chakra because there's safety, or maybe it's all of it. But it's almost like the solar plexus is kind of the leader in this because we are shifting into a very sovereign place, but a higher version, a higher level, a higher frequency. Again, really connected to that unconditional love. A lot of the heart stuff that we've been doing. And if you've been joining me for the soul streams and the group healings, then and you've been feeling it, right? Okay. So again, the themes are identity. So again, I say this for you to help to notice the triggers. The triggers, right? What triggers you? The judgments that you have. Because if you're judging someone else, you're really judging yourself. If someone else is triggering you, they're not doing anything. It's something in you. And so this final push, these next couple of weeks, identity, who am I? Who am I? Mom, a daughter, a son, a father, a healer, a teacher. What are these identities? Democrat? All of the terms, what would you call yourself? So it's flipping them around and like what needs to be purged out. And you can have an identity that isn't bad or negative or lower frequency, but it's the attachment to the identity. So you just might notice some of that stuff getting stirred up. It doesn't mean if you have an ego death, right? And you lose some of this identity, it doesn't mean that you're still not a healer. It just means you no longer have the attachment to that. It means that you are more than a healer. It means it opens the space, right? When you put yourself in a box, I'm a healer, right? You're limiting yourself from everything else that wants to come into your awareness and into your field and into your reality. And so it's taking yourself out of a box. It's crushing the box. It's like, good metaphor that I love is like, imagine you're in a house. And you can look out the windows and you can look at the sky and the sun and see the stars, but you can only see so much because you're in this box with these walls and this roof. You're boxed in. And that's what we do when we label ourselves and we put ourselves in these little boxes. The opposite is the walls fall down. The roof falls down. You're still you. You're still actually all those things, but now, we're not attached to it. We don't need the wall that says, I'm a teacher, I'm a healer, whatever, right? I'm a mother. We're still, in essence, those things, but now there's a wider view. We can see bigger. We can reach bigger. Like, it's instead of having blinders on and only seeing in front of you, you can see a 360 view. Doesn't matter which direction you look, it's expansive. And that's what we want. We want expansiveness. So identity and ego and sovereignty are really, 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 really big themes. Sovereignty is that inner power within you. It's being accountable for your life and your choices and what comes into your energy. It's being solid in who you are. And with that also comes freedom. And this is a big theme that is moving forward. And we need these things to link. We need this unconditional love and this expansive heart that we're moving into and through to merge with this powerful solar plexus energy. They balance each other. The heart is such a divine feminine, the solar plexus is such a divine masculine. They complement each other and they hold space and for each other to be at their highest essence, right? It's the duality that together is balance. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for the mystic message for the week. I'll see you next week, and I'm sending you so much love. And now I'm going to move into the rest of the energy forecast.